patient psychology, client psychology has not changed at all. The reality of what we do is trust.
I call it the ABCs of anti-aging. The A is your anti-aging skincare, your B is your Botox, your C is your collagen producers, and then at the very end, we can do the filler.
You got to get really specific with patients. But I think it's just taking that time and pointing and looking in the mirror with them and actually seeing what it is that they see that bothers them. And then I say, you tell me what bothers you, and then I'm going to tell you what I see.
I train a lot of people. I'm known for training. I get them out of school. They come and shadow me. They have to massage their knees. They have to stay in my room and mimicking me. That's how I teach them to dermaplane. They have to dermaplane their knee, and until they bleed, nope, keep going back. Just keep cutting, keep doing. I'm very into hands-on. They have to be in my room and watch me and shadow me and mimic me. One of the things that we learn about it's role.
Good evening and welcome to the Business of Aesthetics Annual Expert Panel webinar. This empowering discussion is designed to help you navigate challenges, leverage opportunities, and build a thriving career in aesthetics. Thank you for joining us, and a huge thanks to our panel of renowned industry leaders for being here. Tonight, we'll be sharing actionable strategies and best practices and valuable insights to tackle the unique challenges aesthetic professionals face today. Let's also give a warm welcome to our panelists, Dr. Stacy Shimento, Eva Kirschbaumer, Joanna McCarthy, and Brittany Wilson. It's truly great to have all of you with us tonight. Thank you for taking the time to share your wisdom and experience. Today, with our Business of Aesthetics expert panel, we'll be discussing a very crucial topic, and that is case acceptance and patient conversion strategies. How to get more clients to say yes. This is a live event, so please engage with your peers, ask questions, share your reactions, where we are confident you will leave tonight's webinar equipped with actionable strategies and you can implement immediately. So, before we dive in, let me ask you something. When potential patients search online for treatments you offer, does your practice actually show up, or are they finding your competitors? This is a major challenge for many aesthetic practice owners. You might be offering amazing services, but if you're not visible online, you're missing out on a steady stream of new patients. The good news is there's a solution with the right digital marketing, including local SEO, targeted ads, and funnel-based content marketing. You can now not only attract more inquiries, but convert them into patients walking through your door. So stick around until the end of this webinar because we have something special for you and that can help your practice online presence to the next level. So now let's get started by introducing our panelists individually. First up, we have Dr. Stacy Shimento. Dr. Stacy Shimento is a board certified dermatologist and active fellow of the American Academy of Dermatology, practicing in the highly coveted Bay Harbor Islands area in Miami, Florida. She specializes in medical dermatology, dermatologic surgery, and cosmetics. Her growing reputation in the cosmetics and body contouring field has made her a sought after national expert in publications and broadcast media. She's a fellow of numerous dermatological societies, has authored a multitude of research studies, and has spoken at national academic meetings. Her particular interests include acne and rosacea treatments, laser resurfacing, body contouring, and injectable cosmetics. And next up, we have Eva Kirschbaumer. Eva Kirschbaumer is a renowned Hungarian master esthetician and founder of Espar Organic, Hungarian skincare and salon in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Since 2002, she has led Espar to national acclaim, earning awards such as the best green spa and ranking among the top spas in the US by industry publications. Named a top US es- Named a top US esthetician by Aesthetic Everything. Eva is celebrated for her expertise in organic skincare, traditional Hungarian techniques, and results-driven treatments. She's also an international skincare educator, deeply involved in training her team and promoting holistic, sustainable beauty. Ava's dedication has made her a respected leader in aesthetics. Next up, we have Joanna McCarthy. Joanna McCarthy is a highly accomplished aesthetics professional with more than 30 years of experience in the skincare and medical spa industry. Her licensed cosmetologist with advanced certifications in medical aesthetics and laser technologies. She was a pioneer in developing one of the first integrated medical day spas in Syracuse, New York. Over the past 15 years, she has collaborated extensively with dermatologists and plastic surgeons, serving as a skilled educator and patient liaison. As founder of PDO Max, she provides advanced global training in PDO threads, lipofilling, and medical aesthetics. Joanna also teaches for the Aesthetic Skin Institute in Fort Lauderdale. Next up, we have Brittany Wilson. Brittany is nationally recognized board certified aesthetic nurse practitioner and registered nurse first assistant with over a decade of clinical expertise. Her journey began in the Bay Area, training alongside top plastic surgeons and non-surgical aesthetic physicians while pursuing her master's degree. With surgical experience at elite institutions like Stanford and Johns Hopkins, and Brittany brings precision, consistency, and a patient-centered approach to every procedure. She's the founder of Ray Aesthetic and Ray Injector Training in Maryland, a key opinion leader and a national trainer for leading injectable brands, and a passionate educator and committed to advance the industry and empowering fellow practitioners. Wow, we have a great lineup tonight, and
I know, right?
truly,
All of them. Amazing. Love it.
I'm truly appreciative of each of you taking your time to be here. So on your screen, you'll see the main points for today's discussion. I'm confident they will be helpful, and we will deliver an insightful discussion, an amazing webinar. We also have some excellent questions prepared, and I'm excited to dig into them to you. As mentioned earlier, feel free to engage with us through the chat, whether it's a happy face, a heart reaction, a thumbs up, or a comment. We love seeing your participation. All right, let's get started. All right, so the first question, I'll go with Dr. Shimento. From your perspective as a dermatologist and an aesthetic expert, what are the key factors that influence a patient's decisions to say yes during a consultation?
That is actually a good question. And we all know that it's very, very hard when we have patients that are coming in for these consultations because we want them to really have the best experience, right? So I would say, as a provider, for me, the minute that patient walks in the door, you really have like a less than a tenth of a second to make an impression. And there's been studies that have been done on that. So we know that we have the smallest amount of time with them. There's so many providers out there, and there's so much competition, and so many other places that they can go. So the real reason is, why would they want to come to you? So, excuse me. So I think the most important thing is really making such a good impression. And like I said, it starts from the staff, right? The minute they walk into the door, and then it's getting them in there. Um, I would say that the most important thing would likely be trust. You want the patient to really trust you. You want to educate them. You want to make sure that they feel empowered and excited the minute that they leave there, knowing that you're the provider that they want to do their procedures. So when I go there, to be quite honest, guys, I'm like, what you see is what you get with me. I'm like going to be the most realistic and honest person about anything, in everything. And the thing is that when I talk to them, it's sort of like you want them to feel like you're part of a family, you know? And so I'm very good with like doing with visuals with patients and really sitting them down, giving them the mirror, have them pinpoint to me what exactly it is that they want. And then really being realistic about the expectations of what I can really provide to them. I don't sugarcoat anything. If I think they need surgery and like a syringe or filler is not going to do anything, guess what? I'm going to be honest with you and tell you this is what I can do. This is what I cannot do. And I think patients really appreciate that honesty. And so they build that trust. And I've never, you guys can see I'm not a salesperson. I would be the worst salesperson in the world. So I think just having that honest, that communication with the patient and really listening to them and understanding their needs is probably the one of the most important things. And again, really educating the patient and making sure they understand the procedure, what they're getting themselves into, what it's going to entail and anticipate. And I think once they leave and you've done all that with them, they feel great knowing that they're going to be in good hands. You're going to take care of them.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shimento. So the next question, we'll love to go with Ava.
Yes.
As a spa owner with decades of success, how do you approach consultations to ensure clients feel heard, valued, and more likely to say yes to treatment plans?
Thank you for this question. I struggled with that in my beginning of my business because we always seem to be good at wrong, I thought. So I came up with this 3 question for my staff, and we are really successful with it now. We sit down with the client and we truly ask this really 3 simple question, and just here it is. It's gonna sound like, for 5-year-olds. When was your last facial? What did you love about it? And what was your least favorite part about it? And it sounds very, like I said, for just 5-year-olds. When you ask, and then the answer is, when was your last facial? If they said 2 weeks ago, I'm like, okay, skincare junkie. So this is good. She's into it. If it was last year, okay, I know where she's coming from. This is something like maybe it's just budget conscious, or it was a gift. Maybe she's new, maybe she's scared, etc., etc. What was her favorite part? If she said, I love that, like Europeans, we do a lot of extractions. I love that my pores were cleaned. Then I know she's into that. What was the least favorite part? I hated the Buddha music, or I think she talked the whole time, or I was cold, or she put some stuff that was burning. So then now I get a little bit better understanding what we are having with. And these are simple questions, but you really get down to where we're going from. And then obviously you ask the question of the medication. What did you put on last night? Like last night, 12 hours ago, 8 hours ago. Those are the questions we ask. And it seemed to be working. And I'm very strict with my staff. It has to be done. That's non-negotiable. And this is what works for us.
It's basically keeping it very simple, right?
Yes. And I also get the concept of what type of client, or you guys call them patient, what type of clients that we having with, and it's also, I think it's get them in, like, what the doctor said first, like, you really just get them simply. It's not so complicated. We're here to serve you. We're here to please you. What is it? And another one that sometimes I ask, if I could just sit my fingers, if I could switch something on your skin right now, just one thing, what would that be? And then they say, wow, I hate my pores, or then I know where I'm going with. We're not trying to overwhelm them. The market is so saturated and so overwhelming, and it's really particularly younger client. It's hard to guide them through this overwhelming, what product, what treatments, what's a thing, what's a real thing, what's actually works for me. So I do like to get done like, okay, let's calm it down here a bit. I don't think you need that, or yes, you can use that. And it's simple and easy, and it works for us so far.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Eva. So next up, I would like to go with Giovanna. So with over 30 years in aesthetics, how have you seen patient expectations evolve?
Oof.
And how do you adjust your consultation approach to meet these expectations today?
Y-
Wow, that's a good question.
It's interesting because I've actually been in the industry since I was 16 and I turned 59 in 2 days. So it tells you you're talking what, 43 years of being in the industry before. One of the things about me is I've been doing this before there was medical aesthetics, right? There was
Right.
dermatology and there were spas. There was no
Mhm.
true medical aesthetics until Botox came around. But I can tell you that the patient psychology, client psychology has not changed at all. The reality of what we do is trust. You can, if the client patient doesn't trust you, they're not gonna do services with you, plain and simple. So to Dr. Stacy's point, education is really where it's at. Education for us and education for the patient, especially in today's social media crazy world of fake. Um, what's great, what I'm seeing, which I think is great, is people are going back to basics. People are over, they're really becoming over the trends. So I know that I no longer own my med spa, my son does. And he's really kept to my philosophy of good skincare. If you get people's skin looking good, they will trust you for life. I mean, he reached out to me the other day and said, "Hey, how long have you been doing so and so?" And I said, "Geez, I think now 32 years." And she's 62 and her face on her skin looks beautiful. And I said, that's it. You don't have to overfill them. You don't have to oversell them. If they trust you, they will do the services you map out for them. We have a few different ways. They do yearly maps. We start our clients with, you know, good skincare, minimal amount of services, microneedling, the stuff that's going to make their skin look good. Because you can do surgery and you can do filling, but if their skin quality stinks,
Yes.
they're not going to be happy with you. I mean, I've taken care of post-surgery patients that didn't pre-treat their skin. And I love that now doctors are incorporating lasers and all these things before, during, and after. That
Right.
part of the industry has changed, and I'm sure at some point Dr. Stacy can fill us in on that. And I'm sure you see what I'm talking about. I can tell you 20 years ago when I would talk to surgeons and they'd be like, "Well, why do they trust you with this service, but not us?" Well, if you did their surgery and their skin doesn't look good, they're still not happy and they're not going to be happy. So I'm loving that even the doctors are reeling in and going back to really good skincare. We are not a salesy med spa at all. We don't push services. I think our clients are smarter than that. We have a pretty high economic client base and they're educated. And nowadays they're
Right.
really educated to the point that social media is scaring them away from services that they actually need. So I think we have to go back when they come to us, we have to teach them what is right for them that might not be right for somebody else. And what is
Yeah.
right for somebody else may not be right for them. Just because their friend had a microneedling RF, well, maybe they have a chubby face, but you have no facial fat. We can't do that to you. So it's really educating them about what's good for them.
I
But
love
the
that. We get this all the time. You hit like every point in just one little
well,
2
40 years,
four
Dr. Stacy.
4 minutes. You did
I've
good.
seen it all. I've seen it all.
So true.
I've seen the craziness that's gone on in the last 5 to 10 years.
Gio,
Social
I
media,
love that.
social media has almost
Yes.
is almost destroying the industry.
It
It
really,
is.
And
really has. I'm glad you're talking about that.
and I'm like I said, I'm definitely seeing a backup of
Mhm.
people going on trends. All of this craziness that we've seen, honestly, the last 5 to 6 years.
Yeah.
Before that, it wasn't crazy. But I am seeing, because I do go to so many med spas, and I'm blessed because most people who use my product are pretty loyal to us. And we talk to them all the time. We talk about what's going on in the industry. We help mentor our accounts. So I see both sides because I'm in a med spa and I own a medical device company. And what I see is the unloyalty to each other in this industry is
Right.
pretty
Yes.
mind blowing. Um, I'm like I definitely, I just read some articles about the fact that people are pulling away from trends, which is great for us. For the ones that educate, we're going to do better. And I see that in our own med spa. We have not dropped. And like my son's not a major, he likes to just sell what people need. And the clients become loyal. If I still have clients that have come to me when I was in my 20s, are still coming to me in my 60s. That speaks volumes of the type of business we want to have.
Great, great tips and great. It's a great perspective and basically a great breakdown of what's happening in the industry. Also, feel free to make this a discussion. You can always, all the panelists can share your uh,
Well, I think we're all
insights.
over the Instagram crazy.
100%.
The mean people, it's just like it's one injector trying to scream over another injector. Let's just go back to basics, run our businesses, not worry
Yeah.
about what. I'll tell you what, the other thing is, I never ever in my career worried what the spa down the street from me did, the
Nope.
salon down the street. Like people will send me stuff about, oh, what the other thread companies are doing and stuff. I, it's not important. I run my business. I know I run it ethically. I do a good job of education, and education is the bottom portion of our field. If we don't do that, we're not doing anything else right.
So next up, Brittany, you worked in both surgical and non-surgical settings. How has that dual experience shaped the way you structure patient consultations to boost?
Yes, thank you. I love that. First, hold on, Gio, you look amazing. Did you say you're 60?
I'm going to be 59 May 3rd, girl.
I cannot believe that. I was like, did I hear
Didn't
that
care.
right?
Practice what I preach, girl.
Oh, I do agree. So, I just had to just point that out. You all look amazing, but I had no idea, Gio. So, I love seeing and listening to all you guys on here. But my surgical experience has me into who I am today as an injector. So what I do, and I love that you guys have all hit on it, is to really hit the educational piece. And so when a patient comes in, I always give them, I call it the ABCs of anti-aging. So the A is your anti-aging skincare, your B is your Botox, your C is your collagen producers. And then at the very end, we can do the filler. And then I always bring up, then last but not least, if you really want more of a change, we have to talk about surgical options. After going through what I call the ABCs, I have like a 6 and 7 year old, so hence the ABCs, reading them books at night. After I give them all of their options, I always say, this option, skincare, is going to give you this percent of correction. The Botox is going to give you this percent. The collagen producer is going to give you this percent, to show them that like multimodality is going to be the full picture, that really that's what the patient's looking for. And if I get to the end of educating them of the ABCs and say, hey, with say like an under eye refresh, I say with skincare, really good skincare cream, with a little bit of Botox, with a little bit of PDGF or Easy Gel, with a little bit of filler, I can maybe get like 60% softening. I'm never correcting it. And then I say, I used to work at a plastic surgeon's office. I would send my patients to the plastic surgeon, get a lower blepharoplasty, and still that's not full correction. So full correction, he would always say, is not possible, right? If it was full correction, we'd all be walking around like we're 21. So really pulling back expectations for them. And I think that's one of the number one things that I probably get really great reviews on. for like, unfortunately, Google reviews are a thing, but I do read them sometimes. And it's the education behind the expectations. And I think that working in a plastic surgery office gave me that ability to know what an injectable can do, know what surgery can do, know what multimodality can do. And I never understood that really when I learned all of this when I was just working at a med spa in California and we were just doing Botox. I didn't know there were all these other options. And that's when I think I became a better injector, when I learned how to use threads, when I learned how to use lasers. I always said that I didn't want to have like a long list of things that I offered at my med spa. I just wanted Botox and filler. That's it. Because I just wanted it to be simple, and I came to find out, I was like, there's no way that I can have a full face refresh if I'm just offering those two things. And I tell my patients, you can't just Botox your face. You can't just fill your face, pick one thing and think that you're going to have this full, beautiful aging gracefully, which I consider aging gracefully, refresh. We need all these different things. And then at the end of the day, it's okay if you're not happy and you want to have a surgical consult. Like, I know many awesome surgeons that I can refer you, and I think you should get a surgical consult just to see the
Absolutely.
options.
Well,
So,
it all goes hand in hand at the end of the
yeah,
day.
yeah, I'm like, people are so embarrassed. I have these women that just want to fill their under eyes. They come to me and they're like, I would never get a lower blepharoplasty. And I'm like, I'm telling you, it's going to be cheaper. It's going to look more natural at the end of the day. Like, and then we can do the lasers, and then we can do the skincare, and then we can do a little fill after. So I love that knowledge, and I love to know what I think the biggest thing is to know what I can't do. Because I'll be honest, when I first started, again, before I started plastic surgeon, I was like, I can lift your face with a liquid facelift with just filler. And I'm like, no, I really can't. It's like an illusion. Yes, I may get millimeters of lifting, but I need my threads. I need other things.
Thank
So
you so much, Brittany.
yeah.
That's real practical tips. I love how you explained that.
Yeah, thank you.
So circling back to Dr. Shimento, how do you and your team structure consultations to build trust and increase case acceptance rates, especially with first-time aesthetic patients?
Yes, and that's actually, like I said, it's a fine balance when you have that new patient come in. I think ours is a little different. We're not one of those practices that you come in and there's like a little consultation room that someone sits with you and kind of talks. It's very, again, it's more of a medical practice. So people come in. The My medical assistant at that time will kind of get all the information, the pertinent stuff, what the patient's really here for, etc. And then honestly, when I go in there, it's like when I tell you this is really like psychiatry or psychology 101, it's
One.
the minute you walk in the door. It's that first, like I said, those first little interactions I have with the patient. I was a psych major, so I can disclose that. So I think that's helped me tremendously in aesthetics. But just their body language, I can already tell what they've done, what they haven't done. I already know the minute I've walked in what they're probably coming in for, what's bothering them. You're looking at their animations, everything. So um, I think it's making that patient really feel comfortable, like I said, and heard. Aesthetics, you brought up a really great point, Giovanna, that it's so saturated with 5 million procedures. And you guys probably feel the same thing. I mean, for me, I would, I dabble a lot dabble a lot in lasers. And even my patients come in with these procedures that I've never friggin' heard of. And sometimes I got to go out and start pulling out my iPad and Googling things because they know more than I do
Oh,
half the time. They're
yeah.
very, very
They're
educated.
very educated.
So, they come in and they know a lot more. So back in the day, I would say we have to, with these consultations, really talk to them in more like layman's terms. But honestly, I'm very scientific half the time when I speak with them because again, they know more half the time than we really think they do, right? So rather than overwhelm my patients, like I said, I listen to them. I give them the mirror. I say, point to me exactly what it is that bothers you. And then I have them point because they might say, oh, my forehead bothers me. And then really what they're talking about is their glabella lines. Can't tell you how many times I've injected the forehead. And the MA is like, no, doc, they really wanted this area. And there you go, lost the whole area of Botox because, you got to get really specific with patients. But I think it's just taking that time and pointing and looking in the mirror with them and actually seeing what it is that they see that bothers them. And then I say, you tell me what bothers you, and then I'm going to tell you what I see. And then at that point, then I kind of go through my little spiel and kind of, guide them on based on what I see. I don't like to overwhelm my patients with consultations. And I think that's how I kind of build the trust. They came to me, I'm the expert. I can tell them 5 million services I can offer to make them better. But what they really want is a prescription. They want a beauty plan. So they want to feel leaving like you're the doc, you're telling them exactly what it is that you want to do for them. And you make the decision for them and make it easy. Like Brittany said, I will tell you right off the bat, if there's someone that comes in and it's really saggy, I could stuff 7 syringes in a patient and they're not going to be happy. And I'm not going to do that. It doesn't benefit me or benefit my practice. And I go home feeling sad because if they're miserable, then I feel even more miserable that they didn't get a good result. So I have a list of, I call myself, I'm almost like the beauty broker a little bit. I have my trusted, surgeons that I love. I only send eyes to oculoplastics. I have my favorites for that. I send my rhinos to the guys I know that do the best, rhinoplasties. Facelifts. I have my favorites here. I have my favorites in LA, New York. And so I will refer my patients out right away. I'll tell them I'm not going to do a Matrix Pro RF microneedling on you because I honestly know guys that even Softwave, like I'm not going to, I know that's not going to pick their jowls up and what they're going to spend $2,500. I'd rather them save their money. I tell them, put them in your little piggy bank. Go get that consult. How much is it going to cost you? $500 for the consult or something? If the surgeon says you're not ready yet, then this is what I can offer to you. And and I'm honest, I give them 20% improvement. You maybe can get up to 70% improvement, but I can't guarantee that. But this is how I can make you look. You're not going to look like that. I maybe can make you look like this. And you guys probably can't even see that. It's like a millimeter.
Mhm.
But I think it's important to educate them on what the realistic expectations are. And once I go through that with them, then I'll sit and kind of just pull that plan out for them. But I can't tell you guys enough how much I am a skin girl, and you
Yeah.
hit the nail on the head with that. That's my motto. I say you can have the best Botox and best fillers in the world, but if your skin looks like crap and it's got full of sunspots, that's the one thing that makes you look more aged than anything in the world. So it's important to tell them what they need, not necessarily what they want. And so I do think that they appreciate that when I'm very honest with them and maybe say, hey, let's work on your face first, your brown spots or your wrinkles. Then we'll start maybe dabbling with a little bit of filler, a little bit of Botox. But, um, I really don't have a set consultation form. Honestly, like I said, what you see is what you get. I just spend that time with that patient. I really want them to not be confused when they leave my office. I want them to know exactly what my plan is for them. Want to make sure I answer all their questions. I'm always available to them. I'm guilty. I can't tell you how many patients have my personal cell phone number. I don't recommend doing that, but it is a nice thing to have a lifeline to you because when they leave, they're probably going to have lots of questions. But like I said, I'm very like an open book with my patients, and I just think it's important for them to be fully educated on everything.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shimento. Such a
I
great.
really enjoy when you say like you really concentrate on what's bothering them. Because I love that you say, "Oh, I thought it was this area. I treated the whole forehead, and they only want this." Because when I first started years and years ago, I did the same exact thing. They said, "Oh, my smile lines bother me," and I treated a whole patient in the nasolabial piriformis aperture. Way back when we just did that. 10 years ago, you just put the filler in there. And then I handed her the mirror, and she's like, "No, no, no, this one here, radial lines." And I was like, ugh. So
That's why you got to give them the mirror and you say, point where it is, and don't say like what bothers you because they say, oh, everything bothers me.
everything.
I say pick 3 things only. What
I
can we
love
want
that.
addressed now?
Yeah, I usually give, ever since then, I say, point with one finger
I
where, and
love
they'll be
that.
like, here. And I'm like, is it
Yep.
here or here? And we're talking like millimeters, but I'm like, it makes a big difference if I'm filling a line, or maybe it's hyperpigmentation, or
Very
really
true.
trying to figure out what's what. So I love that you said that.
All right, so we actually have a live question from an attendee. So this is the question. So my biggest problem is explaining to clients is that filler will not help them realistically. How do you address that? Address that fat under eyes. Anyone willing to answer this
Sorry,
question?
can you repeat it? I had a hard time hearing.
Yeah. So my biggest problem is explaining to clients is that filler will not help them realistically. How do you address that? Fat under eyes.
So personally, I think you're talking about the orbital fat pad that's protruding out of the orbital
Yeah.
rim where they say, "Oh, I have a lot of bags." I'm like that the treatment for that, the proper treatment is a lower blepharoplasty. Go to a surgeon, get it cut out. It's beautiful. Come back. If it's still hollow, I'll fill it. And then I've had many patients that say surgery will never be an option. So then I say, look, we can get very creative. We can try the Morpheus and try to melt the fat pad. Not a lot of science behind it, and I tell them that a lot, like very truthful. I've had seen really awesome results, but I can't really predict exactly how much it's going to shrink. We can try to disguise them with filler, but again, that can become very problematic if it migrates. It's a sphincter muscle amount around the eye, very mobile, again, very complicated. So I just tell them everything that could go wrong if they're not picking the surgical option. It's to the point where they have to convince me to do it.
I was gonna say, I'm very forward. I'm honest with them and say nothing I do will help you, and I will call our local plastic surgeon personally for them. I mean, it's just we do a disservice to ourselves and to them because we're going to be chasing forever, and that's where we
Agreed.
lose. Then we lose trust. Then we
That's
lose the trust.
true.
At the end of the day, once they go to the surgeon, if they choose to not have that surgery, then it's really on them. But I don't chase what I can't fix.
I think that's a really good point. And sometimes when you're in the industry for so long and you're really busy and you're stressed and you're tired, it's the end of the day, you've seen 20 patients. And Gio, that's such a good reminder of when they do convince me to do it, and I have
It's
that
always,
feeling in my
but
stomach, and I'm like, don't
it
do it.
bites. You know what, Brittany? I'll tell you. I mean, it goes back to even my cosmetology hair days. Every time I went against
Mm,
what I truly believed in, it always bit me in the ass. And then I was constantly chasing
mhm.
my tail trying to
Very
fix
true.
it. So at the end of the day, there's plenty of customers out there, there's plenty of patients. And the more they trust you, we end up getting the people that did get their
Yeah.
tail chased, but I literally I'd be like, I'm going to call the surgeon for you because you know what? I know that's what you need. If you choose to, and they all end up doing it. I'll be
And
honest.
then they're really happy and they trust you.
And then they trust you. I have never not had any patient that has said, I really don't want surgery. Once I made the appointment, once they go to the doctor, they get it done. It's,
Mhm.
it's a no brainer. And like you said, they trust. And to Dr. Stacy, lasers are my favorite. I'm a laser's my background. I taught people laser. I love chromophores. I love water as a chromophore. And I will start everybody on some kind of laser because again, once they're happy with their skin, they may not want surgery. I will say that. Different with a fat pad under the eye, nothing's going to take care of that,
Very
right?
true.
But when I get their skin healthy, it's tighter, it looks better.
Mhm.
I I can push them getting a facelift out 10 years if they're happy with their skin. Because what most people are unhappy with when they look in the mirror is when their skin's not nice and smooth. It's
Mhm.
not hydrated. It's got pigmentation. Let's face it, fine lines we can get with lasers. Of course, we
Yeah.
can't get those deep lines, right? But Sculptra now, all these great skin boosters that are coming to market. I have two great ones myself, but anyways, they work. And my biggest complaint in this industry has been how far away we've gotten from skincare.
I would agree. I would agree. We have like 1,000 modalities, and it never made sense to me when
Yeah.
I worked at the plastic surgeon's office, where I'm like, oh, so do you want to invest in this? What was it back then? Obagi starter kit, right? And it's like, I don't know, maybe $150. They're like, no, I'm going to get my $30,000 facelift. And I'm like, but you gotta have this. And then I'd be like, to the surgeon, I'm like, can we just give them this? Because like
No,
this
there's an
sounds
esthetician here
ridiculous.
who's been like dismissed the whole conversation.
I should pitch
Right?
in, girl.
I mean, seriously, this is exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to me when people spend. I just had it the other day, $5,000 on an under eye refresh, and then I go say you do need to use this under eye skincare because of the skin, blah blah blah, and then they're like, no, how much is it? That's the question, and then I'm like, it's $100 and some dollars. Oh, sorry, I can't. And I did. I'm like, please take it because you'll like your results better.
Ava, how many people are much happier once you've taken care of their skin, even
Oh,
after
yeah.
surgery?
I appreciate you guys including me. I was just thinking, I'm like, I think I'm in a wrong podcast here. There's wrong injectors, and I just thought, okay, something's happening. I just texted who was booking this, and I thought, I don't think you booked me in the right one. They're not
You're so
esthetician.
important.
They're
You're
not
the
really
most
You're
important.
you're
aesthetic.
so important.
I signed up for the wrong thing. So I apologize. I don't want to waste your times. I do Hungarian true organic aesthetics, good face gym, stimulation of the skin, facial massage, educating them about skincare itself, what to use, what not to use, what's a fab, what's real, learn about your ingredients. That's what I do.
I love that.
I'm so sorry if I'm gonna waste your time. So I don't know what question you guys are gonna ask me last, but I thought, okay, I'm just gonna yield my time to these amazing ladies. I never even had injections, so I thought maybe I do. I'm looking at all your cheeks and I'm thinking I could use
But
some.
I
You look
assume you
amazing.
refer to injectors. You probably have doctors that you
You
like
know,
in
what
town.
in Hungary, what we do, we work with dermatologists. That's how aesthetics work together
Yep.
because they don't want to, treat the acne or your squeeze milias or do whatever, extract them. So we work with each other. And the doctors, you would go to a doctor's first, and they would say, are you going to go to an esthetician every 2 weeks? She's going to clean your face. I'm going to give her a compound that she's going to get from the pharmacy, and that's what she's going to use on you. So that's how it works in Europe. It's a little bit different here. And I think the separation, it's difficult because I think you guys are so much more educated than an esthetician. So you guys could do the high roller business and give us we could work with each other. Like I'm not injecting anybody, but I see in Pittsburgh who is the injector. There is one girl who is killing it. She is the most unbelievable, and I recommend every single person to. And I see botched people, and when they ask me, I said, listen, I'm not a favor of it, but if you want whatever you asking me to do, this is the person, here's her number. I never even met this woman. I just see her work. And she also say, listen, your son has acne, so your daughter wants to know about, skincare. This girl is really good with teaching them what to do. Little baby toothbrush for kids, for blackheads. So simple. The bristle is so soft, so easy. That way, at least they start doing something. Shampoo your hair twice instead of once, That helps with people with oily skin. So those are the things that we could work with doctors each other. And we have like little districts that, okay, I work with Dr. Abaji. She recommends me. I recommend her. I recommend Robin. She recommends me. These relationships are great. And like you guys all talked about the trust. We trust each other. We trust each other work. We see it. And we also, when there's a problem, then I see somebody, oh, I don't know how to deal with it. Take a picture of it. I call her. I said, you know what? I'm struggling with this. There's something's not right. Call me, let me call her. We could work with each other. I think it could be really crossed help each other.
100%, Ava. Like when we see something in the med spa that a derm should be dealing with, we don't deal with it. And I think, to your point, skincare professionals are underrated in the field. We know our stuff. When it comes to skin, we know it. And when we get beat up as injectors about biostimulators and stuff like this, I don't even understand the conversation because if you can see the results from a biostimulator like that, it's not a biostimulator. The whole idea of biostimulation is to prevent a facelift. So I'm a perfect example of why you use biostimulators. So at 59, my skin looks as good as a 30-year-old.
Yes.
I couldn't have that if I hadn't been maintaining my skin. So I see a lot on Instagram, some doctors, surgeons talking about how awful all this stuff is, and you're like, but you don't get it. If you can see, if you can see great before and afters of biostimulators, we got problems. They're not biostimulating, they're filling,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, correct.
So the trust really needs to be built between doctors, skincare people, and injectors. We all do something
Business for
well.
everybody, right?
It's
If
for
we look at
everybody.
business, I
Yep.
just think we need to know. I know my space or my place. I'm an esthetician. You guys are injectors, nurses, doctors. We know, and we could work with each other. And I think the greediness sometimes killing this part of the business, and
It's killing
you're attacking each other.
100%. I
So
agree.
if we could just, when I said to one client, and she said, I really want a Botox, but I'm so afraid and something's going to happen. And I'm like, what's going to happen? Try it. You wake up every day and you're looking at yourself and you're hating yourself. What's the deal? The life is too short. Go get it done. Here's the number. You're going to call her and you're going to say, Ava send you, and she's going to get you the best service. And then you come back in 48 hours or 74 hours, whatever she recommends, and we do the rest of the facial stuff, the relaxation, because let's just face it, facials is a lot to do with the energy and the cleaning the skin and the massage.
And we
You
got
feel
time for that. You
good,
do.
the silence, the exfoliation, and the BS and the hocus pocus and the Buddha music. It's all good, but we need that. It's touch, and I also educate them at gut health and a little bit trying to eat better,
Oh,
you know
gut
what I
health.
mean? Like
It's
trying
all-
to do something for your skin internally. So it's a little prep talk, it's a little therapy also. And so we could all work with each other.
And that's where they get their trust in you from. All
Exactly.
that. Again,
Exactly.
we go back to education.
Yes, for sure. Yeah. And it starts with kids. I do think that TikToks and all those things, I always said, ooh, they're going to get crazy with all this craziness. However, they're more aware, they're getting more savvy, right? So there is negative things to that, but it's also, I do think there's positive because they know about skincare. They know mineral skincare. They actually know the ingredients. These kids who come to see me, they kind of know. I mean, I just had this one guy sitting in my waiting room and said, Miss Ava, and I thought, oh, I'm so old now. Don't you remember me? You used to pop my zits, and I'm bringing my wife to you now. She has, acne with the pregnancy, and can you help her? And I just thought, oh my God, it's so nice to see. He remembered me. I was working with him, and when he was Accutane, and we're trying to gently teach him, like, you can't pick, you cannot pick, you're an Accutane. We're just gonna gently clean you and teach you how to clean your face. Kids don't wash their face, period. They just don't. They pretend they do. Like,
So true.
right? So this is what I do, and this is what I feel like. I'm so sorry I'm rambling, but you guys are all cool about the injectors. I wish I would. It's amazing. And your cheekbones look amazing. Fabulous.
Italian cheekbones.
Yes. Love it.
Hey,
Love
I was
it.
just
I
going
love
to say that. I shockingly don't have any cheek filler. It's Italian.
Yeah.
I love it.
Being
I love it.
Italian, girl.
Great.
Your skin looks amazing though. And I think all of that. I want to learn more about like Hungarian facials maybe offline a little bit more in detail. It sounds very interesting.
We are into face gym. Yeah,
I've heard that. Oh yeah,
it's all
saw
about
it on like TikTok or
vigorous
something.
massages, the hot and
Well,
cold plunges, the
Ava,
icing. Yes.
Skincare, this is my background. I'm Italian. Why I was passionate about skin is whatever we're doing here, they're doing there 30 years ago.
Oh yeah.
I brought over one of the first, I still am like a microderm queen. I mean, corundum crystal microderm.
Yeah.
Love it.
Italian
It is.
invention.
So I brought over the first microderm machine when I was 35.
Yeah.
Because I was starting to get fine lines. And then at 40, that wasn't enough. And that's when I get into lasers. So we all get into this because of our own
Yes.
needs. So if we're using the devices and stuff, that also brings trust.
Yes. Correct. Yes. Correct. Correct.
Great momentum we are having here. So, thank you so much for this discussion. So, I would love to circle back to Ava. You built a high performing team. What role does staff training play in client communication and conversion success?
So I train a lot of people. I'm known for training. I get them out of school. They come and shadow me. They have to massage their knees. They have to stay in my room and mimicking me. That's how I teach them to dermaplane. They have to dermaplane their knee, and until they bleed, nope, nope, keep going back. Just keep cutting, keep doing. I'm very into hands-on. They have to be in my room and watch me and shadow me and mimic me. One of the things that we learn about it's role play. So they timid. Young estheticians are very timid to talk to clients, especially savvy clients, high demanding clients who want what they want. So we going back every morning. We call it the little stand up, and we have a situation that we come up with and we write, and we have 5 minutes to have, okay, you, Nicole, are a client, and you, Jamie, is the esthetician. Your skin is this, you have this trouble, you are PMSing this, you're late, and just role play it out and do all the consultation and be challenging them and make it uncomfortable, because sometimes it will be. And then we come up for them with questions that could be in real life, or we had it because we also make notes on every client, like you all do. And then we come up with that for them. And then it works so good because they memorizing it, they learning, they remember. You're like, oh my God, I worked that little technique that you said last time, and it's just works so good. She felt at ease. She felt like, okay, I know what I'm talking about. They, young esthetician, like I just told you guys, they're timid a little bit. They're not as knowledgeable. You don't get to be an expert because you're an expert or you're better at something. You practiced it. You did it so many times. You made mistakes. You made good ones, negative ones. And so I'm trying to challenge them to make the mistakes and to do it over and over again, the positive ones. So that's how we do it, and works. And I have waiting lists with students, and I love it. That's my passion.
Thank you so much, Ava. That's great. That's great stuff to hear about.
Thank
We
you.
actually have another question from one of the attendees. Any of you got one can actually answer this. So, when you have multiple procedure to recommend for a patients at your practice, whether it be threads, fillers, Botox, lasers, or microneedling, how do you choose what to do first and in what stepwise fashion?
It's a very good question, actually. I'm looking forward to the answers.
I know,
Who would love to?
being that I have obviously a thread company, I think we should thread first, reposition their tissue. So why I love threads and why I got into thread manufacturing is I saw what threads did for skin quality, right? In the proper plane, taught well, threads reposition that tissue nicely. Then I would absolutely contour. So how I look at filler is contouring. It's great for contouring. It's like we said, it doesn't lift, it doesn't, but we got a little volume loss here, a little contouring. But I go back to, I would start everybody first and foremost with lasers, microneedling, something to change that skin quality. Because guess what? I can't lift a Shar-Pei dog.
It's your own cell rejuvenating itself. Yes.
Rejuvenation first.
Mhm.
Any biostimulation, you want to biostimulate first. You want to do all that before you put a thread in, even. So when I say start with threads, no, start with threads once you've gotten that skin quality where there's turgor to the skin to actually make a change.
Yeah, I agree too. I typically tell people I have like a little series of what I do, and I I'm big on starting with the framework first. So if they're not getting that surgery and I need to do some more, I call the heavy lifting, then that's where I would offer things more of like the profound RF microneedling, the Matrix Pro, or doing soft wave, one of those sort of really deep stimulatory treatments. And then I will couple it with something like Sculpture prior to get those fibroblasts, readily bathed so that they get a better experience with that. Then I typically tell them we're going to go ahead and do the laser. So then we're going to kind of do the drapery, but I do Botox before that. So it kind of opens up everything so I can get into the etched lines. And then really the filler is like the icing on the cake. So I'm not really big into stuffing people with filler. I feel like if I can try to naturally, like you said, improve their skin, Giovanna, get the biostimulators, really, improve or refresh that skin, then maybe I don't have to put a ton of filler in there. Maybe, like I said, it's just like a little small amount here or there just to give it that little extra zhuzh so that they feel more complete. But I think having a really good set plan for that patient and educating them on why maybe not doing the filler right now is the best thing, that working on their skin or working, like we said with Ava, like my right hand man who I'm obsessed with is Ruth, and she's my esthetician. And I call her Dr. Ruth because her and I we are together when we have that patient. I bring that patient in together, and her and I come up with a game plan. All my patients get introduced to Ruth because really, like I said, either I touch their face or Ruth touch their faces. No one else does anything to them. And she is such a value. She's so valuable to me because she really does help me to direct how I'm going with my patient and that communication. But sorry, I got off on topic with that, Eva, but just wanted to tell you because I think
No, I appreciate
estheticians are
that.
so important to our business, and having that one esthetician or a few estheticians that you can work so closely with to really give your patients the best experience. Because once they leave my chair in my hand, you're the one taking care of them. You're
Yeah.
maintaining that skin. So
May
it's
I ask
very
you
important.
one thing for all of you, since you guys know this? What is the typical rule about filler and Botox when the client has it done? When I am allowed to touch them as an esthetician? Because it just varies with different doctors. And I would love to know from all of you, when do you recommend us to even have a facial for them?
I mean, honestly, for me, listen, we know that Botox literally binds in like 90 seconds, but we still have this old mythology that you should stay upright for 4 hours and don't do handstands and blah, 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 blah. But the realism is that Botox it binds very quickly. So the likelihood that something bad's going to happen on the same day is pretty slim to none. But just to ensure to go with the practices, typically I tell my patients, especially if they've had filler, there's inflammation, right? So, just do no harm first. It's better to be safe than sorry. I typically tell them to at least give it like a week or so just for things to settle down, the inflammation. Because if, like you said, you're doing skin gym or
Mm-hmm.
muscle lymphatics, they're probably swollen even out 2 weeks, depending, even more if you're doing something like biostimulators, etc. So it's really like a matter of just giving them that little cushioning time for the inflammation to go down. So 2 weeks would be something set to go. But then again, it gets complicated because then we have lasers and things like that. So it can get a little dicey, but it's good. That's why you need to have a good communication with the providers, both of you together, so you can come up with a good game plan that works for the patient or the clients.
It's so different because some doctors say 24 hours, 74 hours, 40. I was just curious. So I appreciate your answer. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
we're all I'm sure, like Brittany and Giovanni, you're all gonna say something different. We all have something different, I
Yeah, I
just
used
get
to have.
nervous because my patients, God knows what they do. It's better just to kind of give them a little more cushion
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah, that's exactly what and it's all over the board. And sometimes the worst is when you don't tell, like you're a little bit more lax on your rules. And then they're like, oh, she, said I could. And then something, God forbid, happens. So
Yeah, exactly. Better to
that's
be
kind of
safe.
yeah.
I agree with that.
So
Thank you.
it is all over the board. You are 100% correct.
Thank you.
That's a great discussion. So actually, I just realized what time it is, and we're actually closing on time. And let me share my screen for the closing. All right, so I would love to keep going actually, but I want to be very mindful of everyone's time. And tonight was been awesome, and it was very awesome for me to actually listen to all these experiences, and it was something very mind blowing for me as well. So many comprehensive answers, valuable takeaways, and rich insights. And also I would like to thank all of you. And before we wrap up, I promised everyone, the attendees, that there's a special gift in the beginning, and here it is. So this is the gift from the founder of the Business of Aesthetics expert panel. His name is Narayan Raja. He's the CEO of Eco Marketing, a digital marketing organization that specializes in helping doctors and medical professionals, including aesthetic practices, succeed online. As a token of appreciation for your participation tonight, Narayan is offering you a complimentary marketing strategy meeting with Lila Stone, the Business of Aesthetics marketing director. Lila is a trusted expert in digital marketing and is passionate about empowering medical professionals with the marketing tools and strategies they need to drive. On the screen, you'll see a QR code you can scan, or you'll find a link in the chat to easily book your complimentary session with Lila. So whenever I see an opportunity like this, I ask myself two questions. What's at risk if I reach out and book the session? My answer would be, it's just your time. No tricks, no cost. And what is the risk if I don't? I mean, opportunity for growth is basically success. So it's new patient flow. So I would say you might as well go for this consultation. So if we aren't experts in this particular area, why not connect with experts who are? So with this strategy meeting, Eco Marketing in partnership with Business of Aesthetics can help set your practice up for success and drive more new patients through your doors. All right, so I actually want to thank you again for our expert panel, Dr. Stacy Shimento, Eva Kirschbaumer, Ioana
Thank you.
McCarthy, and Brittany Wilson. You shared so much insights, amazing best practices, and wonderful actionable content. If I were to sum it up, I'd say collectively you made the complex simple, the hidden visible, and the difficult easy. Secondly, thank you to all of our attendees for the privilege of your time and participation. Without you, we don't grow together. Without you, we don't set each other up for success. A reminder to like and share and review us on our favorite social media, and stay connected with our panelists also. And if you'd like a deeper conversation, we can also have another session, another part 2 of this. So until next time, on behalf of our panelists, keep striving for excellence and exceptional patient care. Thank you again for being with us tonight. We'll see you at the next expert panel series. Until then, take care.